because it's more than getting ahead, it's staying ahead with the supportive people that keep pushing you forward.
You're listening to Hope and Uncertainty, Real Neighbors, Real Stories, Real Change. A podcast by Common Heart, sharing hope where it's needed most.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Hope and Uncertainty, our summer podcast from Common Heart. I'm Elizabeth Carpenton.
And I'm Keith Adams.
And today we're going beyond food. We're really looking into the deeper work of helping folks move from surviving to thriving.
We are with us today, Elizabeth, Ruth Wilson, one of our staff members who leads our Getting Ahead group, but then also one of our amazing graduates, Jessica Rittenauer, who recently graduated, only 3 months ago, right?
That's right, yes. So we're so happy to have them here. Thank you both for being here. You look very cute in your color-coordinated shirts. Keith and I did not get the memo to wear matching shirts, but I guess that's fine. Thank you guys. Truly, thank you for being here. And Ruth, start off, what is Getting Ahead? If you were trying to tell someone, what is this thing you do, what would you tell them?
Well, Getting Ahead is a program where investigators learn about poverty in their community and also just uniting with other people that are in their group that are suffering poverty and learning that they're not by themselves in poverty, and also learning resources and connecting.
Now, that sounds like some people might do that in like a 3 or 4 hour session. I mean, how long does it take to go through this process with folks in Getting Ahead?
Well, the process is about 19 sessions.
Wow.
Where you learn different aspects of poverty and just learning about it, and then people also learning their resources and connecting with other people with social capital with each other.
What kind of resources are you talking about? When you mention resources, what kinds of things are y'all investigating?
I mean, after all, everyone knows poverty is just about money.
Right.
Yeah. Well, also it's emotionally, because it could be emotions, it could be education, it could be drama.
So you're looking at poverty from beyond just financial issues or struggles. It's really looking at the whole person and their whole life and how poverty affects those things.
Yes, it's everything, because it's more than just money. Because a lot of people go through a lot of things with emotionally. They're going through drama in their lives, and they have certain situations that may pop up, just like in the sessions that we have, and somebody may have issues going on that they're not ready to commit to changing, and so they may drop out. But then you have a lot of other people in the group that stay in the group and are committed, and they want to change.
In fact, I think I heard something about you've got to go to every single one of those sessions, or you have to make up if you miss before they even start. Is that right?
Yes, you have to go through all 19 sessions, but if you miss one, you can at least make it up the following session. You just come in a little early, so you at least get to miss 2, and if you miss 3, then we have to drop you from the program. You're not ready.
So what you touched on it a little bit, but what are folks dealing with and facing when they come to Getting Ahead? Why might they sign up to be part of this program?
A lot of them sign up because they want to change. They know that they can. It's a program where they see that they can accomplish something, and they want to get out of poverty. And they may be going through some financial issues going on right now. They may be going through a lot of emotional drama going on right now, and they want to change. And I've had some people that have been on there for some years, and then they're ready. And then that's when I call them up, and they're ready to commit, and they come in and they're dedicated, because whatever was going on in their life is not going on right now.
Now, what happens in that room? Well, take me, if you would, from like day one, what that room is like, what's going on there, in the middle of it, what that's like, and then by the end, what is taking place?
I'd say the beginning of the sessions are usually kind of tense, because everybody's like, okay, well, who are these people? And I'm about to spill my guts on these people, and are they going to laugh at me, and are they going to take me serious? And I'm the only person. But then when everybody starts speaking, then they realize, well, I'm not the only person, that they're listening to me, because nobody listens to them, because that's the main problem. Nobody listens. And it's always, they say that I talk to them, but they're not listening. And the main thing they want is for somebody to listen to them. And we listen to them.
Yeah, do folks get more energized as they go through it?
They do. A lot of people get energized when we go through it. I said it's because it's something where it's not talked about, and like I said, resources that they don't know about, and then it's like, well, oh well, I didn't know that, and then somebody else may have some information that they may add to it, and okay, somebody may learn from it.
Yeah. So really, you're kind of, in addition to learning and investigating, you're kind of crowdsourcing resources and learning what other people know and what their experience is. And I know we say a lot of times, you don't know what you don't know. And so it's really cool that by coming together in community and being all together, you can learn together, but also share things that you've learned too. So 19 sessions, almost 10 weeks. That's a long time, a huge commitment, but it doesn't stop there. So folks graduate, and then what comes next after getting ahead?
After getting ahead, because a lot of people, whenever we start to get into the middle and the end, they're like, "Oh my God, it's over." They're like, "Well, can't we continue?" It's like, what am I supposed to do for Tuesdays and Thursdays? And it's really nice when you have people that the investigators where they want to continue. It's like if getting ahead could continue, they would continue to go to getting ahead. But I tell them, look, I said it's not over. I said it's just the beginning, and that's when we tell them this is the ESIP program that they can go into, and they can get more information and learning resources also, and that where they can get incentive check where it's they get 35 points for volunteering, different resource groups that they can go to, where they collect points. They can also have the SBCC, where they can go there and collect some points. There's one for doing your resume over, and also one for jobs, which I say is really good. And I always tell people it's a really good one to go to. And then also once you get those 35 points, I said you get that nice little $500 savings check, which I say is really good for emergencies. But I said it's not just that, not just the money. It's also the point of being involved in Common Heart. And I said a lot of people enjoy that because I said it's almost like a family when we're in the group. Because I said it's family because everybody sits up there and they exchange phone numbers and they stay in contact with each other. Yeah. And that's the good thing about it.
One of the things I recall about the group is that when they come out with a SMART goal plan. They've spent some time developing how they want to build those resources, and then they get a they can earn points for actually accomplishing the goal on their plan as well. I think there's other things involved. Like, don't we have coaching involved?
Yes, we have a life coach that sits up there, and they can have the life coaching even after they finish the program, and they can still continue to see the life coach. Yeah, which I said is really good because a lot of times where you finish up the program and then that's it. Yeah. You don't see nobody.
Yeah. When you what is the main reason so many people sign up to the very beginning of it? What motivates them to come to that very first meeting, and what motivates them to start with for a little while?
I think some of them is first thing you hear about the $35 check that they get.
$35 what?
$35 Walmart gift card that they get.
What do they get that for?
They get that for attending, but they have to attend each session.
They get $35 for the whole.
No, $35 for each. For that, get one for $35 for Tuesday and $35 for Wednesday. So it's $70 a week.
Oh wow!
They get, so basically it's almost $70 to learn resources, which I say is pretty good. And then also they get a meal. They get dinner meal, and they also have childcare. So it's pretty much you have your children washed by really good childcare workers, and then you get also served dinner. So I say it's pretty good.
Yeah. But by the end, that's not what it's about, I'm guessing.
No, it's not about that because it's about resources and the connecting. And a lot of people enjoy the connecting because it's people that either someone that they've been to school with, or somebody that maybe they're related to, and just the connecting and bonding. That we've had people that didn't know anybody from Apple. Next minute, they're going fishing. You have people hanging out with each other, watching somebody else's children. It's a really good bonding for people that never been anywhere or don't socialize with anybody. Are socializing with people now. Yeah, I said it's really good connection.
Yeah. Is there one story or that has stuck with you during your time? How long have you been facilitating?
I've been facilitating since last year. Yes.
Yeah.
So I was co-facilitating also.
You've been doing this for quite a while.
Yeah.
What's one story that stuck with you?
One story, well, I'd have to say probably be two people connected. That they had really bad social anxiety, and to the point where they were quiet in sessions. They wouldn't say anything, just nothing. And I would talk to them, and I'd say, "Well, you're not alone." I said, "It's okay that you're in a safe area. Nobody's gonna harm you here." I said, "We're all connected," and I said, "I know some of what you're going through with social anxiety because." I said, my child deals with social anxiety because I said, you would never believe that she stays at that door and lets people in and they're shocked to see that she lets people in and talks to people. I said, but she has really bad social anxiety. So I said, look, I said, if she has accomplished it, I said, and I know that you all can accomplish it also. And I was just the point that they went from not talking to socialize with anybody to next minute they're talking to people, they're socializing. And I mean, and it was so much that she also wrote a letter to me when she graduated.
Oh wow!
And I stuck it. It's still on my wall right now of what she said. And even now, still socializing, still talking to other people. Also, one she sat up there and she got her ESIP check. I said, and I mean, it's like for somebody who was quiet and didn't say anything to anybody, and now she also was co-facilitating. So I'd say that's a lot. For somebody who was quiet, didn't say anything to the point we were co-facilitating.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that ESIP, I think we're used to using that language. That stands for Emergency Savings Incentive Plan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that is a big deal. That is a big deal, I think, for folks because part of the challenge is that folks live from crisis to crisis, moment to moment, oftentimes having to deal with issues as they come up with very little resources. But by putting this in, they get this idea of I'm going to create a future while at the same time making my current reality, my present, a little more stable. But I have $500 in the bank if anything comes up. I think that's a really cool thing. Has anyone ever said anything to you about that?
Not too many people do, but I mean, they do get excited when they hear about it, and then just the push, as in doing the volunteering, and you have ones that will sit up there and will ask about, oh, when's the next thing I can do, and so then we'll write it down. We'll tell them, okay, well, you can go volunteer, you can go to the pantry. I said you can also, there's events that are going on, you can volunteer for that, and they will sign up for it in a heartbeat. And I said just the enjoyment of seeing them and smiling, and then you're with them at the events, and like I said, it's the connecting.
Yeah, and of course, the most important thing is they can come to my class, take in charge of your life, and hidden rules of class at work. I mean, not to put in a little plug or not, and I'm not known to do that. Talk about my classes and make sure people come, but
they do ask, and I said yes. I said Keith has such and such class, and I said that you should attend that, and yes, and so they said that they will attend. So I said, all right, there you go.
If only we could all be so lucky to attend a class taught by Keith. Well, I love hearing that. I love that the story you shared is about the social piece, because I think that's one of the things that gets overlooked sometimes. I think we forget that so many folks are experiencing isolation or nervousness, and that keeps them from forming the community that we all need, right? We're all looking for belonging and to be seen and heard. And so the transformation from somebody not sharing at all to then co-facilitating and encouraging others to share is just, that's amazing. Really, really encouraging. So, and one of the folks who's been a part of Getting Ahead is Jessica. Thank you so much for being here. And can you tell us just a little bit about what life was like before Getting Ahead?
Before Getting Ahead, life was challenging. I am a stay-at-home mom. My husband is disabled, and we have 3 kids in elementary school and middle school, and life is busy. And being on disability, we have a very limited income, and trying to, live within our means, but still wanting to provide for our kids, it's super hard.
Yeah, super stressful.
yeah. What led you to to come to the Getting Ahead group?
So, since I am a stay-at-home mom, I try to offset that by volunteering. So I volunteer a lot at those schools. And one of the moms had told me that she had done the Getting Ahead program. And I had heard about Getting Ahead over time. We had even received one of the Thanksgiving food baskets, and there was a flyer inside that. But that combined with knowing someone who actually went through the program, and confirmed that this was a great opportunity, that was enough to spur me on to check it out and commit to it.
So she told you some stuff about it. What kind of stuff did she tell you that sparked your interest?
Just that she really loved the community, loved the program, how they provided childcare, how they feed you, how you do get that $35 gift card, and how she was using that to fund the Christmas for her son.
Mm-hmm.
So just having those tangible assets that helped her out. I was like, okay, so this is something that I can try out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was Getting Ahead, when you went that first time, or maybe those first few times, was it what you expected?
I don't really know what I was expecting. I heard the logistics of, it's from this time to this time, they'll feed you and whatnot. But I walked in, there were these brightly colored backpacks, and everyone's just sitting around and talking. And then we're talking about, I didn't know that there was a whole curriculum and that there's a workbook, that there's more than just the one workbook. There's a whole curriculum for everything Getting Ahead and bridging out of poverty. So it's not just this thing that's thrown together. It's a true course to really walk you through.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's used around the United States and throughout the world actually too. That's pretty cool that you mentioned that. What would you say was the hardest part about going through Getting Ahead? What hit you the hardest?
For me, it was realizing that even though I grew up and live like I'm middle class, that realizing that because of our income level, we do fall in the poverty level, and kind of understanding how that affects us, and the benefits that we have or that we're able to get because of where our income falls. But then it was also such a big contrast as to how I carry myself and how I feel like I operate on a day-to-day basis. Like I was, carrying myself as middle class, but my bank account wasn't matching up. So just kind of understanding that, oh wow, this is what it means. You can't deny what your income level is, but at the same time, it also opens you up to more resources as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I think about that, I realize that one of the things that we talk about in Getting Ahead has to do with people being in the tyranny of the moment, where there's just a lot of things coming at them all at once, and they have to make a lot of snap decisions that sometimes cause problems. Was that something that happened with you, or was it not quite that way with you?
When you live at the poverty level, things are tight, and you try to make it through from paycheck to paycheck, pay period to pay period, and just when one thing pops up, whether your car breaks down or somebody gets sick or something, and that throws off your whole budget, even though you try to keep everything down to the penny, or any kind of unexpected thing comes up, and then you get stuck, and then it kind of keeps getting bigger and bigger until you're able to somehow put a stop to it.
Okay. Yeah, cool. What do you think was the most powerful thing that you learned or that you experienced in the group?
I really enjoyed the assessment that we did, that went through, the different resources. And I felt like I was super stuck on feeling that I had very limited financial resources and limited physical resources, but I found that I was truly rich in just about every other resource, like social capital, language, family, just having, and those are things that money truly can't buy. And I found gratitude in seeing that, okay, these are the things that really count and the things that can really keep me going.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I teach Bridges Out of Poverty, and we talk about those same resources you guys talk about. And so, we're talking about financial resources, which of course you knew, but then also mental resources, going to school and knowing how to plan, knowing how to accomplish a plan. Talk about emotional resources have been going on and on. We talked about also, which being able to control yourself in difficult times is a lot of emotional resources. There's a spiritual resource as well, physical, which you mentioned, or the health resource, and then social capital. You talked about that, bridging and bonding social capital. It's great that you had a lot of those resources, and then also motivational persistence, which I know from the little bit I know about you, you really are motivated and persistent. And you're also, and then language, and then the final one being integrity. It's not the final one, integrity and trust. So it sounds like you had a lot of knowledge of how to get ahead,
Yes.
but there were still things that held you back. Is that right?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. I felt like language was one of the resources that I could improve on. Not having spent a lot of time in the workplace, the more formal, professional language is something that I could definitely practice on, work on.
So you talked a little bit about kind of the awareness and the gratitude that you have, and kind of maybe a perspective shift that you've had since getting ahead. But how have things changed for you since you graduated, roughly 3 months ago?
So I really felt like getting ahead was the turning point for me. Getting through the class opened up a huge mountain of resources with Common Heart, with the life coaching, with the resource workshops, because about halfway through the Getting Ahead course, people started talking about ESIP. What is ESIP? Like, let me get in on this secret. And so the more I learned about it, the more I'm like, oh yeah, like this is great. I already volunteer a lot. All of these resources sound really helpful. I want to know. And I earned points for this. That's fantastic. So it all sounded like things that I wanted to know about anyway. And earning the points to earn that $500 savings check just seemed just fantastic on top of everything else.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And then I did get my husband into the Getting Ahead course as well. So he just completed his course, and now he's on his ESIP journey, and he's excited to earn points, and now we can go, earn things together and spend more time.
That's awesome. I love the idea of getting ahead as a turning point. I know you mentioned, for a lot of folks, it's they've finally made the decision, like, I'm ready to do something. And so I love that motivation keeps going even after you graduate. You now have this other goal to be working towards, and Common Heart isn't just leaving you hanging, like, congrats, you graduated, best of luck on those SMART goals. But we're really, continuing to, walk alongside each other, maintain the community, do things together. That's what I love. Ruth said we're like a family. If people are willing to stick around with us long enough, we'll let them stay forever.
That's true.
So I love that the community piece and being able to get your husband engaged. That I think is a testament to the program and the impact it's had in your life and now in your whole family's life.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, every Tuesday, Thursday, my kids would be like, oh, mom's going to her class. And then it turned into, oh, now dad's going to his class. And, just the other week, we went to a Getting Head reunion where I got to see people from my class and he got to see people from his. And it was nice to, put names to faces and just reunite. And, once you get through the Getting Ahead class, you're really part of the Common Heart family and you get to know people and become familiar faces with everyone, coming through and meeting with Jen and Ruth and everyone else. You start to see familiar faces and, see, oh, okay, I recognize that name from that email.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, you mentioned that financial resource was something you need to build. I think I heard something about how you're building that financial resource.
Yeah, so, I mentioned that I volunteer a lot with my children's schools, and I've always enjoyed creating and organizing. And with my first meeting with Jen Savage, who is the Smart Goals Life Coach person, we started talking and we very quickly found out that the SMART goal that I had made, was a good goal, but it probably wasn't the heart of what really needed to be addressed.
Yeah.
And so she really motivated and spurred me on and challenged me too to look into, okay, what resource do I need to look into and to put this together. So I thought, I really have a passion for creating and making social media graphics and, spending time and interacting with people. And I happened to go to a job interview right before going to the Union County Career Fair. And I got offered both a job and with the cleaning company and for doing the social media. And so it just kind of turned into something. And so now I have the Facebook page going and I'm trying to get new clients, and it's something that I'm passionate about and that I can do pretty much anywhere. So it doesn't have me locked into, a set schedule, and it's something that I enjoy.
Yeah, I'd heard that you had like a social media business. You're going to build into an empire,
Well, we'll see. We're starting small, so just one person at a time.
That's good. That's very good.
What's the name of your business and where can people find you?
It's called Simple Solutions, and you can find it on Facebook, and it's Simple Solutions CLT. But I thought it was it covered how I just like to have things just very clean, clear, and simple, and so that people can understand and see the graphics clearly, and also get organized with their home and businesses as well, so that way they can focus on their true needs. Yes.
Oh yeah, you were organizing right here, weren't you?
I sure was.
I love that volunteering.
We need it. We need it here.
Wow. Would you say that you've gone from surviving to thriving at this point?
I feel like I've gone from surviving to breathing. Deep breaths. It feels good. I'm still on my way to thriving. I feel like that's a great goal to have, right up ahead. But I'm no longer struggling to stay above water, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that is amazing. That's really great.
A good feeling. That's, we don't expect it to happen overnight. No one goes just from surviving to thriving after, 10 weeks or after 35 points or whatever way you want to quantify it. But I love that you said, we're breathing, we're getting through, you have your head above water. And that's how when we go from, really struggling or just needing an answer or needing a starting place to having dignity and transformation in the way you think about yourself and your worth and how you move through the world, and the example you're setting for your children, is amazing that you were able to find the things that you love and are passionate about and are very good at, and turn it into something, real and that can cause, bring